Well, in studio with us is Hardin Ratshisusu, who is Acting Deputy Commissioner of the Competition Commission. Now, this comes after the Commission approved the bid by Coricraft to purchase dial-a-bed with certain conditions. Good to have you with us today, Hardin. One of those conditions, though, was that there are few employees who might have lost their jobs on the back of this, given the fact that Ellerines, which did own dial-a-bed, is actually going through business rescue at the moment. And you've stepped in and said, hold on, those 18 people actually need to keep their jobs. How come?
What we have done in this particular transaction, I think you will note that the number of employees in total that were likely to be affected is about 200. And as you know, dial-a-bed or the Ellerines Group is in business rescue. The buyers have not been able to make a firm assessment of each and every store. So they've estimated that roughly 18 people might be affected from the stores they deem non-viable. So we have just put safeguards there to ensure that they make every effort to ensure that those employees are also absorbed.
Hardin, maybe let's just take a step back. I mean, I'm trying to place the importance of retaining jobs and where that fits into the Competition Commission's mandate in particular. At what point does the commercial impact of a particular transaction get superseded by the jobs that are likely to be lost if that transaction were to go through?
Well, we are mandated to look at the public interest in each and every transaction. So there's always a balancing act. And in this particular instance, if you look at the numbers that are well likely to be affected and so forth, we accommodate the sort of commercial goals of the firms, you know, and you can see in the decision that eventually the authority has taken.
In this particular case, the jobs that have to be protected here, how long is that based on a certain term that you've implemented against Coricraft, or you're looking at Coricraft maintaining these jobs in the long term?
Well, in terms of the bulk of the jobs, they've indicated that their intention is really to grow the dial-a-bed business. So we do not see this transaction in any way having a material negative effect on employment, because you'll see around 180 employees or so are going to retain their jobs, and Coricraft will continue running a dial-a-bed as a going concern.
Hardin, there are other sub-brands that are within the Ellerines stable. I'm thinking Town Talk, for instance, Sevels and the like, and potentially we could be seeing a similar process in terms of applications landing on your desk for these to be acquired. Again, is this sending a message to the potential employees who are working within these sub-brands that the Competition Commission is going to protect our jobs? How do you manage that perception?
Well, I assume there would be expectations that because the Competition Commission has a public interest mandate, and one of those considerations is employment, so we would consider employment, the impact of employment on these transactions. And we have been in discussions with the representatives of the business rescue practitioner, so they keep us up to date on these transactions, and we do indicate to them where we think there would be concerns, and you know they have to start thinking about addressing some of those concerns up front before even filing the transaction.
Given the tough labor environment that we have in South Africa, won't this come back to haunt us maybe, where these companies will take on labor that they actually can't manage?
Well, it's a consideration. I think we have always made a call to parties, but these are unique circumstances, because what we require of firms is that they conduct an employment due diligence.
Yeah.
So they must make that assessment as they enter into a transaction. Then we consider their assessment and how they want to absorb staff, who has to be absorbed, and so forth.
How far do your tentacles stretch? I mean, if we think of the Ellerines footprint, we know that it extends outside of South Africa and into the neighboring Southern African regions like Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, to name a few. Would the employees who are within those particular jurisdictions not be subject to the protection that you've offered to the South African-based one, or is the deal all-encompassing?
The deals the dial-a-bed deal and the deals as we engage with them, we are considering the effect in South Africa. So it's all South African based, but anyway, the business rescue practitioner has indicated to us that those businesses on the continent are unlikely to be affected. In fact, some are running. They are not in business rescue at all, so there may not be any impact.
Hardin, thank you so much for your time today. Good speaking to you.